How's it going, everyone? We're here to check out the August update for 2020 of Rust. And this is the mixing table update. Along with it, there's been a few other things added, which we will be sure to show you. And also, we've got some upcoming stuff, which I'll go ahead and cover quickly here in the beginning. So, if you didn't notice, minicopters a bit ago were made to where you can't find them around the map anymore. That was just, for testing and just never got changed. Well, boats and horses are the same way. Boats were eventually meant to be got somehow, not just floating around, as well as horses were supposed to be tameable of some sort. Now, I'm not sure 100% on horses, but from what the devs have said, they are going to be making new monuments. And one of the new monuments that they're already working on is the new fishing village. This fishing village will be a safe zone like Outpost or Bandit Town, and it will be where you purchase your boats and probably other marine-related things. This also means that the ocean itself is supposed to have updates, and things that are planned for that are ocean life. This is on the roadmap, actually. Ocean life, as well as possibly an occasional whale or something, as well as possibility of sharks and stuff with ocean life, as well as scientists on ribs patrolling and stuff like that. So they want to bring some life to the ocean still, and I think this is all something that's going to be coming around. Probably won't see ocean life until after HDRP, just because there's not really a point of making models for an older system kind of thing. But we should be seeing this boat town or fishing village pretty soon. With that, we also have the commits of a new boat called the Canoe. Now, I don't know if it's going to literally be a canoe. It does use paddles, which you can see from the commit notes, but I don't know otherwise. It could be this old raft / makeshift kind of model from before, or it could be completely something different. Maybe we'll get both. I don't know. Now, will this one be craftable? I have no idea. Will we have to buy it for really cheap? I don't know. We'll just have to see how that works. That's all something that's coming up. But just to let you know, there will be a fishing village. And hopefully, with that, we might also get fishing. I don't know. We'll just have to see what they're planning. But one way or another, boats will be something that'll be purchasable. And it looks like horses will be heading that way too. I don't know where or what, but assume some kind of stables maybe. It'd be cool if we could actually tame them out in the wild. But I understand that is kind of an annoying mechanic to add into a game. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But with that, we also have commits from a while ago about elevators. Looks like those elevators will be for us to build in our bases. When that's coming, I have no idea. I haven't seen any commits on it for a little while. So let's go ahead and jump into the update. So with this update, we've got a couple fixes, a couple of new items, and then the whole mixing table and berry stuff. So with a couple of new items, as you can see over here, an old friend has come back with a new face. The Legacy Wooden Barricade is actually back. So it's this guy right here. So it stacks to 10, and oops, I'm not holding down shift. There we go. You've got this guy right here, and it's going to be 20 to research, and it requires a workbench level 1. All right. Then to craft it, you can go under construction. It's going to pop up here, and it'll be 250 wood to make one. So yeah, they're just a little barricade here. For health wise, they have 120 HP, and you can actually, kind of like stack a bunch of them together. So you can kind of build a whole little, encirclement around yourself. Really kind of get something going, but there are still, gaps and stuff. So I don't know, some people say they still are going to prefer high external walls. The team has said that they're going to discourage use of high external walls, so if they see that people aren't really using these, they're going to do some changes to the high externals. So yeah, that's one of those things there. I don't know what they have planned for that, so we'll just have to see, but I could see a lot of people plopping these down as well and wanting to use them. It is a lot easier than trying to place a high external, but the high external does give you more space, so we'll just have to see what's going on there. Along with the new items, we also have a new car piece, the Armored Passenger Vehicle Module. This guy's going to cost you 125 to research and is a workbench level 3. just like its counterpart. And if you actually go down to it, you'll see its crafting cost is 225 and 10 high qual. So let's actually go take a look at it, because cars have also gotten several changes to them as well. So we're gonna go in lift, and we'll put on the cockpit module, and then we'll put on the passenger. So you see the cockpit got a few changes. It has like the yellow pieces on it and the door and the marking there. And then if we get in the passenger module, not only do you have doors to look that way, but you can also put down doors to look towards the driver, which I thought was kind of cool as well. So that's definitely a unique little thing. And with cars, we've had some issues of where it's kind of hard to go off-road and so forth, and you're supposed to mostly stay on the road anyways. That's what the cars are optimized for. But it's been kind of, you know, one of those things where if you do have to go off-road, the car really just gets beat up on every bump. They have reduced that damage by 50%, so it should be much more viable for those short stints where you might have to do a little bit of off-roading. So that is really nice. Also, car parts decayed inside of the car while the car was decaying, and that just kind of felt like way too much. Well, now the parts, these, you know, engine parts will not decay, just the car does. So that means, you know, if your car fully decays, these will drop out and probably fall onto the floor kind of thing, which is kind of nice. And also there was another commit of where they made the repair cost inside the same as using a hammer. That got reverted. So it is actually way cheaper to repair a module in here. See, it's gonna take one metal frag and one high qual. And wait, hold on, let's double check we got the right module here. All right, we've got the cockpit, right? Oh, one metal frag. I don't know. Okay, one way or another, it's supposed, that was a bad example because it's not very damaged. But one way or another, it is 20% versus 50% of the cost. So that is something nice to know. As well, the lifts kind of took up a lot of space because of this part right here. The team went ahead and shortened the footprint, and as you can see, you can even squeeze it into a triangle now. This should make placing things next to it, as well as other lifts next to it, much easier now for everyone placement-wise, which is quite nice. Then there's been a couple other adjustments to the cars, just some optimizations and so forth, to pretty much just kind of help, you know, make them a little more powerful, feel a little more worth it. And one last bit of that is cars on a powered vehicle lift no longer decay. So I guess it's not supposed to decay at all. So I don't know what that means. Powered lift, does that mean if they're like up? So I guess while you're working on them, I'm not entirely sure. We'll just have to see how that works, because this has been sitting on here and it definitely lost a few points because you saw it just, you know, repaired 2 on it. So we'll have to see there. But let's go ahead and check out the hill power on this. So we've got a one of the, you know, better engines, and or you know, the standalone engine, I should say, and it has medium quality parts in it right now. Oh, this definitely feels a lot smoother. One of the other things too is there wasn't really a feedback when you ran over things with the car. That's because the car didn't like calculate the collision back at you, and now it actually does. So if you plow into something like a deer or a couple of people, you're going to feel that back into the car, and the car can take respective damage. It definitely looks like this thing can power up hills much nicer. That 50% change. And then look at, you know, we took a little bit of a dip there. That would have done a ton of damage crashing into this tree usually, and it looks like it hasn't. Let's just hit this pole. Yeah, you can see that took way more damage than just kind of dipping down right there. Which, again, like 1 damage. Before that would have been like 10, you know. Well, not really. It would have been 2, I guess. But you get the idea, guys. It definitely seems like cars are running a lot more efficiently. So I like these changes, and maybe this will push a few more people to wanting to use them. Less decay, a little more health, and so forth, and more power makes them much more viable. Alright, let's get to the main event though. Here is the mixing table. So this is a new deployable, It fits in a 1x1, and it is kind of like a little chemistry station setup. Now, to go ahead and get one, you're going to have to pick it up at... Nope, where is it? It's in one of these, I promise you guys. Mixing table. At the food market at Bandit Town, it's going to cost you 175 scrap to buy a mixing table. You can then grab this guy, bring it home, and research it for 75 scrap. So that has been greatly reduced if you watched my previous video. It does require a workbench level 1. Before, it didn't require a workbench at all, so that is another change to it as well. Once you know this guy, it will pop up pretty much where everything else does. Whoops, under items for the other tables. Mixing table, there it is, and it's 200 millifrags and 100 stone to craft it. So that isn't too bad. You don't need to know anything else once you have that. So you can jump into it. You can see it has recipes here. We'll get back to that recipe in a second. But as you see here, it's got your different healing teas, your ore tea, all this different stuff. And it shows you the recipe, exactly what it is. You do have to actually put them in the right order, which we'll get to in a second as well. And then you'll see it also includes a recipe for making low grade and gunpowder. And of course that is the same, resources as right here. You'll see 1 cloth and 3 animal fat. And then over here we got 30 charcoal and 20 sulfur. You'll see that you actually only need 20 charcoal, but still need 20 sulfur. And low grade is the same. So basically when you do this, this is a way to where you don't have to be bogged down with crafting remedial things. You can just queue up the max and let the bench go ahead and do that on its own. And it's going to do that with all the brewing as well. And if you know explosives, you can then craft explosives in this table as well. So again, if you're crafting explosives, you don't have to sit around. And it's, 53, 10, and 10. And if we look here, 53, 10, and 10, you can see it's exactly the same, which is quite nice. Now, to make this, you only require a workbench level 1 and the explosive BP, which means you technically don't need a workbench level 3 to craft explosives if you have a mixing table. I'm not sure if that's an oversight. We'll just have to see, but very cool possibility there. So let's get into these teas and so forth, how they work. So like I said, if you go ahead and you put in, it has to be, multiples, and it has to be in the right order. It'll say start mixing. So you can see we can make a basic healing tea here. Now if I mess it up or something, it's not going to let me do it. Or if, let's say let's do a tea that has multiple ones. This is the ore tea, so it's supposed to be like this. But if we do it out of order, you can see it doesn't work. So the order does matter, but I mean, it's right here for you, so you're always going to see it anyways. So really, it doesn't matter. And then you can go ahead and start mixing, and you'll see it's going to take 100 seconds for a full stack to be made. So we're going to go ahead and let it do that, and we'll come right back. Also, some people were complaining it didn't have like an animation. It does now. As you can see, you got the fire here, and then you've got fire here. This boils, that drips. It's got really cool sound effects and everything. And last time I didn't show it at night with something like this, so I'm going to go ahead and show it at night. There you have it. It does put off a little like smoke effect as well. So it's pretty obvious to hear where one is running. So if you got a bunch of these set up crafting and they're all running, making a noise, raiders definitely would know where your room is with them. Alright, we're done. And as you can see, that went ahead and it made us some basic ore tea. Now, if you want to make, there are 3 different tiers, I should say. So basic, advanced, and pure. Each one's going to give you a different effect, or a better version of that effect, I mean. And we're just going to go ahead and show. So as you can see, the recipe for this is going to be 4. We'll make the next tier. Takes 5 seconds. So now we've got an advanced right here. And then 4 of the advanced will make a pure. So it does kind of go up, but as you'll see, the benefits of them go up quite a bit as well. So one thing I did want to go ahead and show you before we did that was actually going ahead and doing the explosive BP right here. So we'll just toss in that, and one of those, and one of those, and one of those, and start mixing. And it threw out some metal frags at me. And you'll see it takes 80 seconds. We'll go ahead and let that do its thing. So, over here, we have the different berries now. We've got a blue berry, a green berry, red, white, yellow, and black. You'll see their perspective, you know, the clones, seeds, and berries. We've got the clones and seeds stacked to 50, and the berries stacked to 20. Over here, you can see what they actually look like in world. And as you can see, of course, you can grow them in a planter. So we've got the red, the white, the yellow, the blue, the black, and the green. And yeah, you'll just find these out and about in the world, in the grasslands, and pick them, bring them home, and you can farm them just like you farm anything else, which is quite nice. Of course, you can harvest and take clones. They work exactly like any of the other plants do in the game. So that's quite nice. And they are primarily not that great for food, honestly. They're going to be for your mixing purposes. So let's go ahead and take a look in here. It should just be a few more seconds. And ding, 20 explosives done. So now you can go ahead and queue up your next amount. So yeah, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how this goes. I just made explosives without a tier 3. I only needed a tier 1 or to have just bought a mixing table and not even learned it. So that's gonna be very interesting to see how that goes. But it's very, very nice. And I also like the little, like, ding, you know, it's done. I think that was a cool little sound effect added to it as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at our prospective buffs. First up, we've got the wood tea. The basic version is going to last for 30 minutes, and it gives you plus 30% wood. This is something you will see as you harvest teas. 30% isn't really an even, trees. 30% isn't really an even number, so you might get more in one tree than you do another, but it adds up. So basically there's like a counter in the back, and it's, you know, for every so many, it adds so much more kind of thing. So it might not seem like it at first, but if you do the overall stats afterwards, you will notice that 30% extra. Then the advanced gives you 60, and the pure wood tea gives you 100% more wood. That means if a tree gives you 1,000, you now get 2,000. That's pretty cool. So that's quite a little buff. As I said, they all last 30 minutes. Then ore has a similar one, but it's not quite as high of a buff. We've got prospectively 20% more, 40% more, and 60% more. Then we've got the scrap tea, which is going to be about the same as the ore. It goes 30%, 60%, and 100%. So it does actually jump to 100% more, meaning if you got 5 scrap, you now get 10. Which we'll go ahead and, you know, show a few of these here in a minute. Then we've got the healing tea. It's going to basically just work like a syringe. One gives plus 30 healing, plus 45, and another one gives plus 60 healing. It gives you like a soft health bar, which it slowly fills over time, just like a syringe. So it's not an instant 60 HP or anything like that. Then we've got the max health tea. This actually gives you a buff for 5 minutes of extra HP. So drinking this is going to give me 105 HP. If I drink this, it'll be 112.5, and if I drink this guy, I can get a max HP of 120, which we'll show you here in a second. I'm actually going to dump these in here, and we'll go ahead and grab out those guys to show you. Then we've got the anti-rad tea. This gives you plus 50 protection for 30 minutes. And then we've got... Oh, okay. Well, their stats don't seem to be going right. But there is the... It also gives a protection to another stat. It should be 5 resistance, 15 resistance, and I think the last one is 25% resistance. Don't quote me, because obviously it's not showing up right on these. So I'm not sure what's up with that. But yeah, they give you the protection plus the resistance. And then we've got the rad removal T, which is going to give you -6, -8, and -10. So yeah, that's how those all work right there. So let's go ahead and check out. We've got our basic one. We're going to pop it into our hand here and use it. And now you can see it says 1 boost active, and you can actually go into here under boosts and you'll see 5% plus max health. So we'll actually take a health potion here to bring us up, and you'll see we actually have 105 HP. Boom. So let's take our next one, and you'll see it's plus 12, so it does not stack. All right. So that's kind of something to pay attention to right there. We'll grab up both of these. We'll go ahead and do that. You'll see we're healing up. And it should bring us to 112.5. Yep, there we go. Oh, it shows us 113. Interesting. Alright, I guess 0.5 is kind of hard to show. And then we'll pop the last one here. And you see, if we go into here now, plus 20 max health for 5 minutes. So, boom, 18, 19, and 20 HP. So, yeah, there you go. That got a little bit reduced. I think it used to be up to 30 or something plus. So that's actually nice. It didn't go up too high there. And so we're just going to go ahead and clear out our inventories and give a try to some of these other teas. Before that, though, there's a reason I have the bone arrow here. Bone arrows were kind of OP, and it had to do with their thickness. Now that has been fixed, and they should not be crazy OP anymore with that bug completely taken care of. And also the above ground pool has seen a little bit of an increase in HP, as well as you can fill it with salt water now if you like. So you can have a nice salty pool if that is your kind of role. Alright, we cleared everything out, and I did have a small box here for a reason. I know a lot of you are going to ask, can you put a small box under here? It doesn't look like we can right now, but honestly, I doubt that was a priority for the team to be thinking of, so it might be something we eventually see. But yeah, I knew a lot of people were going to ask about that, so I wanted to be sure to mention that. So let's go ahead and try out our tree thing. We're just going to go ahead and do metal tools here as our staple. We'll get rid of the box, and we're going to go ahead and drink our tea, pure tea tree. So you see 100% yield. And let's see how much wood this sucker gives us. I know each different type of tree gives different wood sometimes, so, you know, it's not going to be 100% there. But, boom, 876 wood from that tree right there. That's pretty good. Very nice. So you can see it starts to kind of like stack up as you go. So right here we've got a stone node. Let's see. We'll go ahead and see if we can't find an ore node. Alright, so we've cleared out our inventory, and we do not have the ore buff yet, so let's go ahead and harvest this sulfur node. Alright, we got 300, right? Now we're going to go ahead and drink the pure, which gives us 60% more yield. And we're going to come over here to this sulfur node. Oops. And we got 480. So there you go. That makes quite a bit of a difference there. And then, I know we didn't do that before, but just since there's a metal ore node over here, I'm pretty sure most of you already know what a metal ore node is going to give. So let's go ahead and hit this guy with the 60%. And you'll see we actually got 3 right here and 960 there. So, and then I guess the next question is going to be, well, do you get more yield from stone? Because stone isn't technically ore. And the question is answered. There's that 61% more, because you usually get 1,000 and we got 1,600. So, you know, there you go. There's that math. It is definitely applying to those. So with our scrap tea, it's going to be 100% boost. So let's float on over to a barrels over here. Let's see, do we got a couple of similar barrels? There we go, 2 similar barrels over here. So of course when you hit a barrel, you get your 2 scrapola, right? So now we're gonna drink this guy, hit the same exact kind of barrel, and we got 4 scrap. Boom. How is that? Sometimes it drops in 2 separate stacks, so you want to make sure you pay attention to that. As you can see, that one I only picked up 1, but there was a second thing of scrap. That's something I didn't realize when I did the last video, so that's something I want to bring attention to you guys, because if you're kind of running the road and trying not to get destroyed, that might be one of those kind of things that you miss. So definitely very cool. As you can see, we got the whole 4 scrap in that one right there. Then the next question is, does the scrap increase in the grinder for you? That does not. So when you're grinding stuff, it does not get it. It's only out here on the road. And as you'll see, it doesn't work for boxes either. The standard 5 is going to stay in there. It only works for barrel hitting. Alright guys, that pretty much does it for the basics of the mixing table. So this is definitely going to be a game changer. It's going to be interesting to see how people adapt to this and so forth. I know a lot of people aren't really happy with it, but hey, you know what? It's just the game's going to be ever changing, and that's what keeps it alive. So some people are going to leave, some are going to come back. We just have to see how people adapt to it. It definitely makes farming a much more viable thing. And we do have one last thing. There is a new building piece, as well as a kind of like a feature to the actual roofs. So we now have a triangular roof, and roofs now actually try to connect better. So I don't know if you remember, but when we used to have to do this business, right? And look at that. It just looks horrible, right? Well, now you can actually just place your triangle roof, which is quite nice. So you can just pump, whoop, that's a stair. And we'll just get out of its way there. And boom, 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 boom. Let's go ahead and upgrade it so it looks all nice and pretty. And there you go. Look at that beautifully connected triangle walls, roofs. And it really just is nice with that. You can kind of complete the corners and so forth. And if you kind of have like a funky shaped base, it still will let you, you know, kind of do something with the roof, you know. Oops. So we can do, well, I guess this one isn't really big enough, but you get the idea, you know. Now, what happens when you do something like that? And let's see, we'll do that and that. It looks like it doesn't quite close up. So, you know, there's still a couple of weird things, but I mean, this is a really weird shaped base anyways. So, not sure what I was achieving there. But hey, there's definitely a lot more you can do, and it's going to be some much nicer looking roofs for sure. So that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you are excited, at least, to see where all this goes. Thanks for watching the video, as always, and supporting me, and have a great new wipe.